Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's a health and nutrition coach, investigative author, as well as a speaker, no other than Mr. Michael Dorfman. Welcome, Mr. Michael, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Okay, Danielle. Well, I was born in 1942, and so I'll be 84 years old this coming January, and I've been living a healthy life for the last part since 1976. I've been doing investigation. I wrote my first book in 2019, which was The Thriving Vegan. I've been following a plant based diet for 17 years. I started in 1976 as a vegetarian. And since I've been a plant based diet follower, I've been experiencing excellent health. And in the last couple of years, I've I've been an octogenarian, and I've created a new idea. I believe it's called the fifth stage of life, where we can really thrive after we reach the age of 80, and that's what I'm trying to be a representative, an example of what it's like to live a healthy life after the age of 80.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Michael. Thank you. And today, let's talk about your writing process of all your books. Tell us, where do your ideas come from, and how do you know when an idea is worthy of becoming a full book or project versus just a passing through?
That's a very interesting question, Daniel. And I'd like to go back when I was in my 20s. I was a young guy. I was experiencing youth, and I became an active writer at that time. In my 20s, I did poetry, and I just was writing about the events of the time, and I was really enjoying writing. And then life changed for me. And after that, I got into my 30s. I worked and had a family, and continued to enjoy my life. But for some reason, I wasn't able to write anymore. I was trying to write, but I don't know why I couldn't write. And then I found out when I wrote my first book, which is The Thriving Vegan. The reason I wasn't writing is because I didn't feel a passion for anything special. So for those years between my 20s and my 70s, my late 70s, I tried to write several times, but nothing was coming out. So I think that what I'm trying to say is that I started writing again when I had a passion. And my passion was when I became plant-based, or also known as a vegan. And then all of a sudden I just flourished, and I just found the words, and it was a beautiful experience. I became a speaker at that time. So I think that's the basic thing for me has been I write when I'm really passionate, and it's easy then because the words just come to me to express myself.
Interesting, Mr. Michael. So, what does the beginning of your writing process look like? Do you outline extensively, or do you just start writing and discover the story as you go?
Well, I what I do usually is I write, and I don't have any. I know I want to write about, if I want to write about nutrition and health. I just try to accumulate information, because I'm an investigative author. And that's why I part of it is my own storytelling, my life experiences, and the other part is what I investigate. So what I do, it seems like accumulate and I just write and I accumulate research, and I don't have any specific goal in mind except what I want to write about, which is health and nutrition. And I've thought about this, and I thought I sort of maybe think of myself like Michelangelo when he did David. He said, I don't know if he said, but it would seems that it was he put together the figure and then he removed everything that was not part of David. So I think maybe I think that way, that I have all this information. Okay, now I'm going to eliminate what's not part of what I really want to say.
Mr. Michael, tell us the longevity wellness revolution this coming 2025, what is all about?
Well, it's exactly what I mentioned about the fifth stage of life. I I I'm trying to spread my message and write about my message, which is that we have a concept of life in the West, especially, that it's you reach your 70s, and then it's sort of your life is coming to an end. You may get a chronic disease. You may just believe that, okay, the lifespan of a person is in the mid 70s, and that's what it's been in the West, whether it's the United States where I was born or Mexico where I live. So people get the concept and they believe it. They have the mindset that everything's coming to an end when you're in the 70s, especially if you have a chronic disease. And I'm living now, I'm in my 80s, almost in my mid 80s, and I've come to identify myself with the fifth stage of life, which I call it, from 80 to 100. And in the book itself, I divide life into five stages, which is the first stage from 1 to 19, when we're growing up, our youth. We're experiencing the hormones and the change of life, puberty, and we're going through an experimental stage. We're beginning to discover ourselves. And then we go from 20 to 39, when we graduate from university, we have a job, we get our family, we have a family. And then from 40 to 59 is we're supposed to be successful, and at that time of life. And then from 60 to 79 is we're thinking of retirement. And then, okay, well, I'm going to do the things I always wanted to do, retire. And that comes to 79. And then from 80 to 100 is like, for me, we have to change our concept. We have to change our mindset, because we have to look at life as continuing. As we it's not the time to slow down and expect to, well, this is the end of life, I can live a few more years, my doctors tell me that I can manage my disease or with the illness I have. And now I'm saying that no, it is exactly the opposite. We need to thrive, and we can thrive in a life that is continuing. And we have a lifetime of wisdom. We have a lifetime of experiences. And once we reach 80, we have a lifetime of wisdom. We have a lifetime of experiences and understanding of what life is about. And now we should be able to put it to use, not to consider ourselves like, well, everything is coming to an end, we're over the hill. And everybody tells us that, this is it, we could just manage our lives, and we could live maybe, in our 80s and 90s. But I'm talking about thriving. I'm talking having the best experiences of your life when you start to reach, in your 80s and 90s. And that's what this book is about. That's why it's called a longevity wellness revolution, because I'm looking at it as a revolutionary way of looking at your life that we don't read about, and people talk about it, but I'm talking about experiencing it. And what I do when I'm writing this book, I'm actually living the writing, and that's a beautiful experience for me because it just never ends for me. I'm learning all the time about, well, I got to keep on going. I got to keep on enjoying. And it's one thing is very interesting, which I wanted to mention in the other side of the world, in certain rural cultures, whether it's China, Japan, and Africa. The when you get older, you're revered, you're looked up to, you're seen as a guide. The grandmas and the great grandma and grandpas, they're old and they have a lot of wisdom, and we respect that wisdom. Whereas in the West, where I live, it's not that way. They people go into a home, and it's just you're not really respected, and that's sad, because we should be respected, because we've have this experience of living a lifetime. So
Interesting,
that
Mr.
whole concept,
Michael.
I believe, has to change. Okay.
Interesting, Mr. Michael. So, how do you overcome the intimidation of the blank page? What is your strategy for getting those first words down?
Yeah, well, I think that it comes. I just what I do is some of the best ideas that come to me early in the morning. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. Sometimes I'll be writing, and all of a sudden these ideas come to me. Not all of them are really great. Some are interesting ideas. But what I do is I get up and I and I go to the area around the bathroom. I have paper there and a pen, and I don't even turn on the light. And I take the pen and I just write down what's coming to me. And I did this last night. I'm at the point I'm writing the last, for example, this the last part of the book, because I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the year. So I'm the last part of the book. I'm saying, well, how am I going to end this book? And I just last night, early in the morning, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't even know what time it was. I don't look at the clock. So I write down my notes, and this gives me a head start. So today I just look at it and say, okay, that sounds good. Well, this is not that great. This is a good idea. So what I do is I take that, and that starts my blank page. So it's sort of a thing I learned during the day, and I think about things beside the morning. Okay, I'm going to jot this down, or I'll go into the recorder on my phone and I'll just mention a few words, during the day if it comes to me. And that starts me with that blank page, which I hope to fill up with more information.
Interesting, Mr. Michael. So, as an author, health and nutrition coach, what are your short term and long term goals, as well as a speaker?
Okay. My short term goal is just to do everything I can. I my lifestyle, beside my plant-based nutrition, which I've been following for the last 17 years. I have lifestyle practices I follow, and these lifestyle practices have come from the healthiest and longest living people on the planet. I'm not sure if you heard of them, the Blue Zones,
Mm,
which was
yes.
yeah, okay. So the Blue Zone, so they have lifestyle practices that I follow, and I also have added some of my own, because the first book I wrote, The Thriving Vegan, was basically about nutrition. And now I'm just adding on more practices, lifestyle practices that are not it's not only nutrition that's important, it's how you live your life. Because the problem we have in is that with more and more we're living sedentary lives. We're sitting back and we're watching TV, or we're speaking on our phones. We're losing contact with people. We don't have relationships like we used to. We're our relationships are now on our cell phones, which is not the same about same as being with people actually. So my short term goal is to keep I want to be healthy. I want to continue to be healthy because I want to be an example of what I want, what I'm promoting. In other words, if I'm saying longevity wellness revolution and it ends up that I'm not really that well, there goes that. So my goal is to be an example of the book I'm writing, and what the word, and when I speak of what I want people to hear is my message. And my long time goal is actually I've been doing a lot of podcasts. I love doing podcasts, and I want to reach more and more people and tell them about my idea. And hopefully, I'll have more opportunities, because I think, the revolution is something that people need to hear about, and understand that life, begins at 80. Life doesn't end at 80.
Definitely, life begins at 80, people, not 40.
Right.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Michael, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be an author like you?
Well, I think that if you can maybe go inside yourself and see if there's something you like to do is writing. Because I think, there are people who, may not feel the urge to write, or wanting to write. But if you feel that the need, I would say, write, and write about your experiences. And I think that eventually, if you have that instinct inside of you, it'll come to you, and then you'll find something you really want to write about, whether it's fiction, whether it's nonfiction, whether it's something that you have a deep desire inside you want to express, whether it's poetry. uh, it'll come. But I think it's a great idea, because if you start early, or at any age actually, and you start writing, you can continue doing that, and it is really a great way to keep you healthy, because it's creative and it keeps your mind working. And that's really important. As you get older, you want to exercise the mind, which is a very important part of being healthy.
Thank you for that advice, Mr. Michael. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Well, I one book that I'm talking about health books, and one book that the China Study by Dr. T. Colin Campbell was really changed my life. Uh, he's a biologist emeritus at the Cornell University. He's in his 90s now, and he's brilliant. And I've learned so much about health from him, how the body functions, how nutrition functions. And the other one I like was Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, who used to be the chief of staff at I forgot what university, the Cleveland Clinic, and he's now retired. He's in his 90s, still very active. And he wrote this famous book that prevent and reverse heart disease, which through nutrition he turned around the lives of hundreds of people, as he had a success rate for people who are very, very sick with heart problems. He had a success rate of 90%. And people living months, they lived between 10 and 15 years. So these are two books that influenced my life and really started me, researching and finding out more and more about, the power of plant-based foods and lifestyle changes.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Michael. And tell us the Thriving Vegan, what it's all about.
The Thriving Vegan is based on nutrition. Is when I first became plant based. I first became a vegan, and it tells I go into a deep research into different things, beliefs we have about nutrition, and some things that I write about, which I challenge, which is the supplements. For me, whole plant based food, there is no substitute for eating whole plant based foods. And too many people are depending more and more on supplements because supplements is it's a big industry. There's a lot of money behind it, but there's nothing the body craves whole foods because the body has been eating whole foods for a couple of million years, and all of a sudden we're coming in with supplements, but it doesn't do the job. The body needs nutrition from whole foods, and I also get into how we've become a drug dependent society. Pharmaceutical drugs, we depend upon them, and because we depend upon drugs as a fast way to get rid of our symptoms, we are not depending on our body's self-healing powers, which are incredible. The body has a power to self-heal as long as we give it what it needs. If we help it in its journey, the body has been protecting us since we were born, since we had our first breath. The body has been healing us. It's been taking care of us because it wants us to live. Our body wants us to live. So we have to help it in its work. And instead of what we're doing is we're looking for a pill for an ill. We go to the doctor and it's easy. It's easy for us. He says, okay, take this pill. You may have some side effects, which is getting very popular now. But take this pill and it'll get rid of your fever. It'll get rid of, but it really what it does, it gets rid of the symptoms. We need to get to the root cause. And the root cause is that we're not following the proper nutrition, and we're not living healthy lives with healthy lifestyle practices. That's what we need to do. And if we can start as a younger age, it'll help us when we get older. So that's what a couple of things I expressed in the Thriving Vegan.
Well, thank you for sharing the Thriving Vegan as well as the Longevity Wellness Revolution as well as all your books. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Michael, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, as well as my Bible Verses 101. Love Letters in fourth season, as well as Movie 101 Review and Music 101, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Michael, how has your writing process evolved over time?
Well, I think I'm getting better. I'm, ge- I think I'm getting better because I love to tell stories, and I'm actually writing my fourth book. I stopped in the middle of the fourth book, which is my memoirs, and I'm halfway through my memoirs. But then, when the pandemic started, I started getting into, because that was more important at the time. So my memoirs is about my storytelling. So I want to start, and I have done that. I'm using stories for the longevity wellness revolution, and I think it's really important that people hear my story as well because it's my authentic me, and it gives me a chance to really. I don't know. I love to sell, humorous stories or, serious stories about my life. I'm 84. I'm going to be 84 years old, and so many people are not that old, and it's great to be able to express what life is, what I've lived to people that are young that, don't know what it was, life was like before there were cell phones or before there was internet. And I have half of my life was before that. And it's sad that people don't hear more about how life was because it was different, but it was important how we lived our life before the internet and the cell phone. So yeah, so it's that's what my storytelling is, and that's what I'm trying to do.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Michael.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your books, your advocacy, your coaching, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Okay, well, I have my website, which is longevitywellnessrevolution. And I'm also on Substack. People can subscribe to me on my Substack, and I send out weekly articles, and I promote also podcasts. I put out my podcasts on Substack.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Michael Dorfman because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering books to come, more and more episodes of the podcast itself, and for sure, more and more empowering coaching to come. So, Mr. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. It was great.
Likewise, more to come, people. See you soon.